Hey guys, welcome back to another week of NFL Bell. Week 13. Dang, we're almost done. We're past the halfway point. Only got a couple weeks of NFL left, and I'm slowly starting to feel the sadness inside me. But as always, with me is LouBetya. Lou, how you doing?
What's up, buddy? I'm ready. It's a good slate for betting. The last couple of weeks, I have not loved the slates. I've gone a little prop heavier. I do have some props this week, but some interesting lines where I think the wrong team is favored, where the line's too wide, and gonna spend all my MMA money on this week in the NFL.
I'm pretty excited about this week. I see a couple of spots that I want to hammer. The glasses might come out. But if you guys haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. We're almost at 100 subs, probably like one away. So I'd appreciate it if you could do that. And I say let's get on right with it. So we have the odds pulled up. Thursday night football, first game on the slate. Buffalo Bills at the New England Patriots. And Lou, I defer. You go first.
Okay, so this line took a little bit of steam. Buffalo was a bigger favorite. I should note there is a rumor that there's been a flu going around in Buffalo's locker room. So let me just get that out of the way. I don't know if that contributed to the line. Maybe they just divisional game. They like the home dog here. I don't like the spread. I honestly don't like the total. These two teams play like really weird games. Uh, there are two props that I really like here, though. One of them is the Josh Allen rushing total. It's over 42 and a half. Shop around because it's a little different on other books. I've seen 43s. I've seen 41s. So shop around for that. I like it for a couple of reasons. He's not 100% healthy. That's number one. Number two, the Patriots' pass defense is, I would call it elite at this point. I know they got torched by Minnesota. Getting torched by Jefferson is not, there's really no shame in Justin Jefferson going ham on you. The other thing is that New England at stopping quarterbacks, they're sixth worst in the league at stopping opponent QBs rushing. So I really like his over 42 and a half, especially in like a cold, windy night. I could see them calling a lot of design runs to go to him. The other one I like is Ramondre Stevenson over in receiving yards. You can find it at it varies. I think it was 39 and a half, if I'm not mistaken. It is 37 and a half. So there's some injury concerns. New England, I think Parker's banged up. And Damian Harris is out, which is the big one. So I don't know that Stevenson's going to have a ton of success running the ball against this front seven of Buffalo. They're all healthy. I think that their front seven can shut them down. And also the game script that's going to go into this, if Buffalo does have the lead, New England kind of has to abandon the run. And his rushing total is 60, which not unreasonable for a guy who's going to be the featured back, but I mean, they could abandon that in the second half. So I like he's gone over this total, I think 5 out of the last 6 games. I feel like the targets will be there. If you want to target his receptions, I think over 4.5's not unreasonable here. It is minus 135. That's not terrible. I'd rather play the yardage myself because I do think he could rip off 20 plus on one of them. So unless he gets a couple of negative ones, that's your fear. But I like his receiving total a lot here. And I think, again, with the game script, the fact that he's the featured back and he's their bell cow, I love it a lot.
Yeah, it looks like Lou and I were sharing notebooks on this one. Josh Allen rushing total, love it.
We do
And
not talk about what we took before the show either.
yeah, 100%. We did not even talk about this at all. Josh Allen rushing total, he's hit this against New England 2 out of 3 times. And we've seen New England give it up to Lamar as well. So I'm going to be taking that as an official. And I'm also taking the Ramondre Stevenson over on the receiving yards as an official. Spread wise, I think the Bills should cover here, but it's just weird why it's 3.5. You would imagine it would be a little bit more, right? It's the Bills we're talking about here,
Well,
but
what dropped it? I mean, it dropped 2 points. So that's the really interesting thing here.
exactly. So no one knows what dropped it. That's a thing. It might be that flu that you're talking about starting to get out a little bit. The only way I could see myself playing this is if I buy half a point, just buy the hook, and get the 3. Buying the full point is just too expensive, especially because it's the Bills. What is the first half team total at? That's what I'm interested to see. First half team total. Oh wow.
A lot lower than I would have thought. I would have thought 13.5, but
Yeah, that's
oh,
where
what,
I'm going.
you're going to
That
play this?
I'm probably going to be playing that too. The over 10.5 first half team total. Because I could definitely see how they could get one touchdown and two field goals with New England's good, like strong defense against the pass. Like they'll probably get a touchdown and then get stopped short on a couple of drives. So that's
Right.
something that I'm definitely going to be playing.
They do have a solid kicker too, so
Yeah,
always in play.
but is his name Dicker though?
No, he's not Dicker the kicker.
Yeah, can't
He's also
support.
not Fuad Reveiz, but it's all right. Or Norwood.
Go on to the next one. We have the Jets at the Vikings. And the Vikings are laying 3 points, at least on my book. It's like, yeah, 3 points. Here's the thing with this game. Vikings have been looking incredible lately. They've been passing really well. Kirk Cousins hasn't looked like a bum in recent games. He's throwing accurately. Jefferson and him look like they're in sync. The Jets defense though they're legit. The issue I have with them is their offense, but the legend Mike White came back last week and showed everyone why he's a legend and threw for like over 300 yards and a couple of touchdowns. So what goes to say that he can't do it again? And the Vikings defense isn't all that. Like the Patriots were scoring left and right on him, and the Patriots aren't really known for scoring that much. So I'm staying away from a side here. I might go. I know as horrible as this sounds, I might go under on the Jefferson receiving yards. Uh, that dude, Sauce Gardner.
He's a beast.
Yeah, Sauce Walker, not Gardner.
Well, Gardner, you had it.
Is it Gardner?
Yep.
Yeah, it is Gardner. Why am I doubting myself? Sauce Gardner locks up every receiver that's on him. So I'm gonna have to maybe see what that number is, and if I think it's too high, I'll probably be taking the under on Jefferson's receiving yards because it might be juiced to the tits after last week's performance.
Well, let's see what it is because all the props are in fact up at this point. So
Okay,
he's
perfect.
84.5 is the number.
Yeah, that's nice.
Feels about
I'm
right.
thinking about it. I'm not gonna give it out as an official pick or anything, but it's something that I'm looking at.
Okay.
But other than that, nothing else in this game. I'm not too interested.
Okay, so I like Minnesota a lot here. I'm taking the bait, and there's a few reasons. It's Mike White's second start on the road. Look, he beat up the Bears, who have bad defense. I'm not taking anything away. They won the game. It's not his fault. He can only play the opponents, but he beat up a Bears team that also didn't have Fields. So, like, defense got gassed. I mean, good for him that he got Elijah Moore involved. Like, the guy hasn't really been on, like, he's barely been any focal point of the offense when Zach Wilson was there. But I think this line's a little bit of recency bias. And on top of the fact is Minnesota played Thanksgiving night. They got 3 extra days to prepare for this, which I always like. The extra rest is important. And I know everybody's like slurping on the Jets, and I get it. It's fine. To your point, I get that Sauce Gardner is good. Ain't nobody stopping Jefferson this year. He's just too good. You got to throw 2 guys on him. So, like, there's just nothing they can do. The Jets also don't defend tight ends well. So your elite tight end boy, Hawkinson, might be posed for a big day. He did have his first touchdown. I was on that prop. I got a little lucky. But I think he's poised for a pretty big day. I think Cook's going to have lanes. And Minnesota this year, they're just winning these fucking weird games, man. They're winning these 3-point games like the Raiders did last year. All these close games, they're winning. As good as the Jets have been, I can't back a guy that's had one road start in his career that everybody's sucking his cock. Now, because this line is -3, -105, I'm just waiting. I'm hoping this gets to 2.5. And if it does, it's a smash spot for me. I'll take the 2.5 all day. So I think it's just a recency bias line. There's going to be a few of them that I feel that way this week, but give me Minnesota -3, and I have confidence in this one.
Hey, they did hit the shoey bet against Gordo, so
They will always be in them, and the Skins, or the Commanders will always be in the not Redskins will always be
not Redskins, the Washington football team.
You ever read The Onion? You remember The Onion?
Sometimes.
So there was an article, and this is like forever ago, like 8, 9 years ago, where it was like among political unrest and fan protests, the Washington Redskins have changed their name to the DC Redskins. It's like, we heard you loud and clear. Our name was offensive, so we are now the DC Redskins. I always thought that was funny. All right, what do you got next?
Next up, we got Broncos at Ravens,
Oh
and this
boy,
is ugly. It's very ugly, guys. It's -8.5 for the Ravens. I could see the picture of James D. Ross. It's like, Ravens, what happened? Screaming at me. Get this game away from me. I don't even want to talk about it. It's the Ravens have not looked good. They've been horrible. They
yeah,
last week was I don't even know what happened. I mean, Tucker missing a field goal. Who would have thought that? That's like the last thing on my mind. But 8.5 is just a little bit too much to lay on a team that has not been showing too much lately. And from a prop standpoint, I mean, Gus Edwards rushing over might be a decent look because
we don't even have it. We don't have any props for any of their backs yet. That's weird.
Yeah, that is weird. Kenyon Drake kind of sat back over the past couple of games now that Edwards is back and he's established himself as the lead back at Baltimore. So maybe his rushing total, but that's all. I don't really like anything in this game.
Yeah, no, thank you. No thanks. And just for the sake of, if you're watching this and you want to do like a 16-team parlay, I'd lean Denver. Very little confidence, just because, like what Wiz said, you can't trust Baltimore with this kind of a number. I mean, could Baltimore score 10 and cover? Yeah, I mean it's certainly possible. Like 10-0 is very live. But you know what else is live here? 10-3, 7-3. I mean, Denver's defense has still been really good. But
Except for last week, apparently, against Sam Darnold.
well, that was a weird game. They also had like, oh, you mean against Lawrence? Or you talking about
No.
Denver's?
Darnold.
Well, they did have a couple of turnovers in their own end. There were a couple of short fields in that game, should be mentioned. But yeah, they didn't look, and they're getting frustrated. They've been on the field like 45 minutes a game because Denver can do nothing on offense. So what's up, Dale? Welcome to the stream.
We got you, Dale.
Like, yeah, just don't bet this game. I mean, we have the full slate this week. Like, pass. It's not even a teaser. I can't even recommend a teaser here. Like, I can't.
No way. And I'm Mr. Teaser. I can't recommend that one.
Like, it's a perfect line to do it, but I can't.
Yeah, watch the Ravens just come out and absolutely smash these guys.
All right, what do you got next?
We can go to it's. I scrolled up my screen for a second. Steelers at Falcons.
Okay.
Steelers 1-point favorites. Oh, line flipped. Okay, on my offshore right now, the Steelers are still 1
It's
point.
-1.5 on some books. It's
Interesting.
weird. Yeah.
I like the Steelers here. They've been showing me a lot from the offensive game, at least. Defense has always been solid now that all the guys are back. Everyone's pretty much healthy on their defense. So TJ Watt's playing to his full capacity, and we saw what he did to the Colts. He was just being a nightmare. And in the offense, like Pickett's been stepping up. He's been completing the hard passes. He knows when to scramble and rush himself. And the Falcons, I think they're just too injury plagued. That's the word I'm looking for. So the Falcons are a complete fade for me whenever possible. I'm gonna have to take the Steelers here. Nothing crazy, just a 1-unit bet, but I do think they get it done. And if you can get that +1, sure, take it, or just take the money line at that point. But yeah, give me the Steelers all day.
100% agree. I think the wrong team's favored. I think Pitt should be probably -3. I like the improvements I'm seeing from Pickett. He's got some swagger. Meanwhile, Mariota, at this point, I feel like it's almost any game now before he gets benched. I think the only reason he hasn't been benched is because Atlanta, the division is so bad that they're still in playoff contention. And I guess they feel like Mariota's the best choice. But, as good as Drake London's been, when he's your only fucking receiver and a quarterback who just doesn't like to throw the ball, it's weird. Pitt's really good at shutting down the run. They shut down Jonathan Taylor pretty well. The first half he did squat. I mean, nobody in Indy. I get that Indy's offense is whatever, but Taylor's 100 times better than anybody that Atlanta can trot out there. I mean, Cordell Patterson's like obviously the wild card. They use him in a lot of different formations, but it's not like he's a deep threat. And that's really how you beat Pitt, is if you have guys that can burn the field, like and go deep and get open. Like that's how you beat Pitt. And I don't think Atlanta can do that here. I love the matchup. I never was a big fan of Pickett in college. I thought he was overrated, but maybe I'm happy to be wrong if he keeps improving. So he's not like a world beater, but he's not making mistakes. And I think that's the important thing here. Atlanta can capitalize. When Atlanta beat Chicago, all they did was make mistakes. It was a weird game. And Atlanta still almost blew it. So yeah, give me Pitt here. And I have a little more confidence than you. I mean, I may go more than one unit here. I really like this matchup for them. I think it's everything checks the boxes for me with Pitt.
Yeah, this is a game where I don't think Atlanta scores that much.
Yeah, I mean, this feels like 17-10.
Yeah, something like that.
And
I
Pitt will
agree.
do just enough. And Harris has looked a little better. So
Yeah,
you could
Harris looks a
run on
little
Atlanta.
better, even though he did leave with an injury last game. Their third string running back, I forget his name. He's actually pretty good.
It's not Snoop. Ooh, Benny Snell.
Not Snell.
Okay.
He played last game. He also has like dreads. What's his name? What's his name?
Jalen Warren.
Yes, he's pretty
Yeah,
good, and he was drafted, I think, in the third or fourth round, and in college he played pretty decent as well. So maybe they can incorporate him if Harris isn't 100% out there.
sorry,
Um,
Brady's being funny. He's like, I'm watching your show, and I'm like, which one? And he's like, oh, the prop show from last night. I'm like, well, how about the show I'm doing now? Watch that show. And then he's like, what the fuck? Weezy gave out a minus 135 on your prop show. I'm like, yeah, you don't understand. I don't get out of bed for Brady's pretty funny.
yeah.
Did you see him singing on his video?
Yeah, I heard that. That was hilarious. That's happened to me once, but I wasn't singing or anything. It was just the countdown music going twice.
It happened to me once at the end of the video when I thought I'd hit the button. And I was like, fuck you, monk, or something like, and I was like, oh, and we're off the air. All right. Nothing offensive though. All right, what do we got next?
Tennessee at Eagles.
All
I
right.
don't know why I said Tennessee at Eagles. Tennessee at Philadelphia. -4.5. Very weird spread.
It's come down too. It opened at 5.5.
Mhm. Yeah, everything leads me to take the Eagles here. I think they have what Tennessee's weakness is, which is the deep ball, and they can utilize it with multiple receivers, not just one, which makes me like it that much more. Tennessee is good against the run. They're good against the short passing game, but whenever it comes to the deep balls, their safeties are just not really picking up on them. So I'm taking the Eagles here. It has to be a close game in my opinion. I think it will be closer than what most people expect with the Eagles because everyone thinks, oh, Eagles are going to win by like 3 touchdowns. No, it'll probably be a touchdown game. So give me the Eagles here and with some confidence. Receiving yards, I like A.J. Brown just because of the deep ball threat. Devontae Smith isn't targeted as much, so he might be a little bit of a sleeper if you're looking at like DraftKings lineups. But A.J. Brown, and we got to go back to lose all reliable. Kenneth Gainwell.
Oh yeah.
Little tutty.
AJ Brown also has to be brought up the narrative here that
Yep.
he's gonna want to like
Revenge.
right, he's gonna want to boss his old team. I mean, so I am not betting the spread here, and I'll tell you why. I hate the Eagles, so like, but my lean is Philly, and I'll tell you why. I know the line movement's gone against like the pick, but there's a couple of like false fallacies here. So Tennessee does have the number one rushing defense, but you brought up the real point. So the Eagles could just bomb it. Like not having Goddard hurts, but Quez Watkins is being used a lot more. And look, you can stop the run all you want, but the Eagles have, I don't know if I consider Gainwell good, but in terms of a backup, he's probably like a top 5 backup in the league, and they use him right. He's a good red zone guy. Sanders is good out of the backfield as a receiver too. So I don't think the Eagles are going to really have a lot of problems moving the ball. Here's the number one fallacy, though, that I don't understand. Everybody's like, oh, the Eagles can't stop the run. which I understand. We saw it. Like AJ Dillon and Jones were both having good days. I realized they gave up passing yards at the end, but like it was an outlier more than I think it's a weakness in the Eagles. Like Slay had a bad game. It happens. Here's the thing with Tennessee, though. Henry hasn't been looking as good because the O line's not good. And they're bottom 10, like in rushing yards, which is crazy, like to think of. The problem is they're not only banged up, but Henry now, he's getting to that point in the season. He's had, how many touches has Henry had? Like he's starting to wear down, and that's no knock on him. It's natural. Like you can't get through a season and run 350 times anymore every single year without wearing down. So I think the Eagles will actually be able to slow him down a little bit. They slowed down Jonathan Taylor. I mean, the Eagles have stepped up against like big name running backs in the league. So I don't think it's a problem, especially because Tennessee is incredibly one-dimensional here. I don't think Austin Hooper's beaten him. Treylon Burks is not even 100%. I like what I've seen from him, and I think he might have an okay game. But really, is anybody? And Racey McMath's not available yet, so I'm not worried about him. Like in the secondary, if Racey was there, I'm Tennessee money line all day. But I think the Eagles win. I actually might have a lean to the over more than anything else, which sounds really strange here. I just think the Eagles can, if all they're doing is passing, like they're just gonna have these drives that are like 4 plays, 80 yards, like bomb
Yep.
touchdown. Like, so I lean Eagles. I'm not gonna get there, but if this line keeps coming down, if it comes to 3.5, I may have some interest. Like 4.5 is like I just right now that whole point, and Tennessee seems to be trendy, which makes me like the Eagles a little more in this spot. But I don't want to root for the Eagles, man. I don't want to root for the fucking Eagles. Come on. All right, what we got next?
Next up, we got Jaguars at Lions.
All right.
Jaguars 1-point favorite.
I don't even have a spread now. Let's call it a pick 'em because it's been
Yeah,
around that.
yeah, they're 1-point favorite on my offshore, and I like the Lions here. I'm not sure if I'm going to get to the window, but the Lions have been stepping up in every game over the past 4 games and keeping it close with some legit teams. That game on Thanksgiving against the Bills. Oh, not to mention the extra rest. That game against the Bills was crazy. What they were doing to the Bills secondary was it should be illegal. They were throwing left and right on him. Jared Goff looked like he was Joe Montana for a second. But there's one name that just stands out, and it's Amon-Ra St. Brown. This kid can play. And anytime you see Detroit on a 3rd and long, a 3rd and anything, it could be 3rd and 37. It just magically goes into Amon-Ra St. Brown's hands, and he gets the first down, no matter what. He's Mr. Third Down. That's what I'm calling him. So I like the Lions here. Their offense has been stepping up. Their defense has been stepping up. Aiden Hutchinson looks like he's starting to come into himself a little bit more lately, and he's starting to get more and more sacks and tackles each and every game, which in turn is motivating the rest of the line. So just for those couple of points, give me the Lions and give me Amon-Ra St. Brown's receiving total over. He's hit it pretty much in the past 5 games. He's either hit it or gone like within 2-3 yards.
Before I get to this, I just want to let you know that if I told you the scores of both World Cup games right now were 2-1, you'd assume Spain and Germany were winning. Neither is the case right now, which is crazy.
I don't
What is
understand.
going on? By the way, I had no bets for these, so I didn't mush this. I'm just letting you know. But I'm just looking at the score now, and I was like, Costa Rica just scored. Like, what the fuck is going on in this group?
Yeah,
So
I have the Spain game right here.
just so you know, as of right this second, with 20 minutes left, Japan would win the group and Costa Rica would take second. Spain and Germany would be eliminated from the World Cup if
The
these
amount of
results
money the sports books are going to make if that happens
I
is
mean,
crazy.
this is like, hold on. I just got to see one more thing. I'm sorry, guys. So if Germany won, they'd be at 4.
That
Uh,
Spain would still go through if Germany won.
I'm trying to see what would happen in the result of a Germany win and Japan tie because I think I had a future on Germany winning the group.
Will Germany win, Japan tie, that means Spain goes through as the top seed, and then Germany goes through as a second, right?
Yeah, this is just I mean, like, I'm kinda rooting for the Madness at this point. Alright, anyway, back to this. I could not agree more. This is another recency bias pick. Dale brought it up in the chat. It's a letdown spot. They won, like, their Super Bowl last week. To win that game the way they won it and yes, did Baltimore collapse? Sure, but Jacksonville had to do their part. Uh, Detroit, again, much like the Minnesota pick, Detroit has had multiple days more to rest. There's no shame. They won 3 in a row. Look, you and I are Giants fans, and like the Giants, all right, they're maybe not the greatest team in the world, but Detroit went on the road and they dominated the Giants. Dominated them. Detroit has not been a traditionally good road team, and they went out there and they crushed the Giants. They almost beat the Bills. I mean, I don't know what's not to like about the way they've played. I feel like they're playing above their talent level. And even like St. Brown, he hasn't even been awesome. Like, I'm waiting for him to just have a monster game. Like, they don't throw him in the end zone a lot. He's been awesome. He just not like a touchdown threat, but why do you need him when Jamal Williams has scored 90 touchdowns this year? He's
Yeah,
unstoppable in the red zone. Swift looks healthy. Goff's not making mistakes. Hutchinson is playing like a madman on the line. I like everything I see about him, and this line. They should be -3 here. So this is crazy value in my opinion. They're finding ways to win. This over is like trappish because I saw it and I'm like all day. But Detroit's defense is actually playing a little better, and I can see Jacksonville struggling here. Don't let like last week fool you. Lawrence is still the worst quarterback statistically in the red zone all year in terms of making mistakes. Their red zone efficiency has been terrible. Detroit, you saw it against the Green Bay game. They're decent at like they saw it against the Giants too. They're very good at like bend but don't break in the red zone. So I think that happens a lot here too. I think they can hold Jacksonville a lot of field goals.
mhm,
Yeah, Detroit all day for me. And this is one of my favorite plays on the board.
yeah.
Another recency bias spot.
They almost made me take out the glasses on this one.
Well, we got games. We got some other games.
Yes, sir. Divisional matchup. Commanders at Giants.
Can I
Ah,
start just so
man.
I have nothing to say?
I wish I had something to say too. I think the Commanders get it done as much as that saddens me to say, but I will not be betting them. If it was any team other than the Giants, I might. But I can't get it go against my own team here. I think the Giants do have that it factor. I think they can get it done, but do I want to bet on them? Probably not. Commanders have been looking really good, and yeah, I don't want money on this game because it's emotional heartbreak along with divisional heartbreak, which also puts the the playoff picture a little bit further away in my head if the Commanders win. So I'm just gonna stay off of it completely.
Germany just scored again. It's 2-2 in that game. I'll
Oh,
keep you apprised. So I'm not going to take a side. It's the same as you. I know Washington's been like just dominant lately. Like not dominant, but like I mean their record is dominant. Like they're not dominant. They just find ways to win these games. There is a prop I like, and I like the Danny Dimes over on rushing. And so the reason I like it is they're going to have to throw the ball in this game. Washington's secondary has been pretty good. More importantly, the Giants don't. We ain't got no receivers, so it don't matter how good your secondary is. We ain't got nobody to throw to. We're going to throw to like what the hell? I can't remember his name. The backup tight end we used,
no, I Tom
Lawrence. I forget his
Lawrence
name.
Yeager.
Yeah, it's Cager, right? Like, okay, I don't think he beats the Skins. Like, I mean, look, now he's gonna have 3 touchdowns, but what I do like is I think the Giants are gonna have to. Anytime they're dropping back, I could see Danny Jones taking off. He's done all right in these spots, especially like if they're playing from behind. You're gonna have to throw a little more. I imagine the Skins are going to put 2 guys on Barkley because nobody else in the team's a threat. 32 and a half is a pretty reasonable number. He's hit it, I think, more than half the times this season. I forget the stat. I had it up somewhere, but I don't think it's a horrible number here for him. So if I'm going to play anything in this game, it's going to be that. I'm not a million percent sold on it. For the sake of the show, that's what I like, and I would lean Redskins, gun to my head.
Yeah, but no other thoughts for me. Next up, we got the Browns at the Texans, and it's gonna be a two-part for me. So the glasses are gonna come out twice. This is gonna be a teaser for all the marbles.
All right.
Give me the Texans. Sorry, not Texans. Oh my God, what was I saying? Give me the Browns in this teaser.
Okay.
And this is the homecoming for Deshaun Watson. Game 1. He's going to come out here and torch the Texans and show why he's still an elite quarterback. Taking the Browns at -1 in this teaser. Yep, that just fell on the floor. Yeah, I think Deshaun Watson shows a pretty good game here, although he's been out for a long time. I think he might have some rust to shake off in the first half. So that's why I'm not taking the first half number. But other than that, I think the Browns just run all over the Texans. And even without Deshaun Watson, I think Nick Chubb just absolutely annihilates the Texans too, because they can't stop anyone. So I think Nick Chubb gets a touchdown. Woo, big surprise. Amari Cooper is the prop I'm targeting this week on the receiving yards. And I think he goes over it pretty often. So Amari Cooper over in the receiving. I don't even have to look at the number. I'm going to play it. And the Browns are going to be in the teaser for me.
Okay. I am not betting this game out of, I can't with this guy. I can't. And I will say this, as like a fan of comedy, as horrible as it's going to sound, if he like gets a rushing touchdown and his celebration is like massaging one of his teammates, I will laugh. I will think that is like kind of funny. I mean, this is like a narrative game. If you put that aside, Cleveland should absolutely steamroll him. I mean, he could throw 5 passes and they should steamroll him. Like, I don't think it even matters. I just can't, dude. Like, I can't. I won't feel good about it. So again, we have a full slate. The pick for the show is by the half point. Take Cleveland, but I don't want any part of it. So let's just move on to the next game.
Next up, we got Packers at Bears. Lou, I'm gonna let you start this one off.
All right, so this is interesting to me because we have some health concerns and there's no props up. So they're saying Rodgers may play. They're saying Fields may play. We just don't know. But so here's what I'll assume. If you get Rodgers even at 50%, he owns this team. He just owns the Bears in his lifetime. Fields, if he plays, is not going to be at 100%. So I can't really back him. If it's Simeon, this line's going to go to like probably over a touchdown. If it's Jordan Love, I still don't hate it. And I'm not basing it just on what I saw last week in like mop-up duty. I mean, look, he almost drove him down the field and like he almost covered the spread and everybody had like a panic attack. You know, like he almost it was close. I lean more on the history of the rivalry more than anything else. I will not be betting the game. But I feel like for the sake of the show, I would favor Green Bay here. As weird as they've looked, this is just a team. You know, in soccer, we call it the bogey team. Like they just own Chicago, like over the last 10, 12 years. So I can't bet the Bears here. And the Pack fans travel well too. So it's not like I know it's in Chicago, but it's not like a hardcore Chicago crowd there.
Yeah, I can't touch this game. Too much moving parts. Even with the starting quarterbacks in, I feel like both of them could win the game and cover their respective spreads. I just don't want to touch it. Darnell Mooney is now out too for the rest of the season. So that's a big weapon gone for the Bears.
Yeah. At what point do you shut down Fields?
I wouldn't play him if he's not 100% here because, like, what are they playing for?
But, I mean, without Mooney, now you have Claypool and you have Cole Kmet, who at least you remembered is on the field. You have Montgomery and you have no other running backs. You have a defense that, like, you literally wholesaled, like, this whole offseason and for the deadline. Like, at what point did the Bears just say, like, we've gotten development out of Fields? And he has. He's definitely
100%.
Like, what more? Like, you got what you needed out of him this year. He's showing that like he can take the jump, and now you can build around. Now you're showing you can build around this guy. At some point, you have to be like, we're done. I think, like
But
soon.
the Bears, they're a very weird organization that likes to hurt themselves.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah, to Dale's point, Montgomery is the third string quarterback. He is the emergency
Well, we
quarterback.
thought he was going to be. He was the backup last week. We thought if Simeon had the oblique injury, like
Yeah.
it was going to be him and Peterson or Peterman, and like,
Whenever you see Nathan Peterman's name on a field, that's where you know it's bad.
well, I know, but like this is important for like DFS purposes because if Montgomery was actually going to be the emergency QB, like he became like a must start because like even if he throws like 3 picks, well, first of all, he's probably not even throwing that much. He's gonna be running the ball every play. And if he does throw it, any passing yards he gets are like, I'm like, oh my God, he could like be the slate breaker. But it's like 5 minutes for the game. They're like, nope, Simeon. I'm like, what the fuck? They just reported he was out. Like, what is happening in this game?
On
All
to the
right.
next one. We have Seahawks at the Rams.
We're on the
Seahawks
4 o'clock slate
7.
now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And odds are
Glasses.
coming back on. Second leg of the teaser. Seattle Seahawks -1. Ship it for the boys. Seahawks are going to destroy the Rams. And I say this with full confidence. Seahawks are just better than them everywhere. And it's kind of funny to say this, but they might be better than them defensively as well. So for me, give me the Seahawks in this number. I don't like any props. I'm just going to keep it short and sweet. Seahawks as a second team of the teaser with, I was about to say the texting it's again. Browns, Seahawks, teaser, 6 points. Ship it. The boys are in.
I think that's a solid spot. I'm on the Seahawks here to cover, and I don't care that they're on the road because the Rams, their home field is like they don't have a home field advantage.
They
Like
don't.
their fans like don't care. Uh, I think they're in tank mode at this point. Stafford's not going to play. Robinson's out. Copp's out. Aaron Donald is out. So I don't know. Is Higbee their best guy? And I like me some Tyler Higbee and all. Is he their best guy? Like I just don't. I just don't know. Like, and the thing is I don't. And Seattle, yeah, they're coming off like a weird bad loss to the Raiders, but like this is what the Raiders do at the end of every fucking season. They're like, oh, that's right. Like, we're just gonna start winning games now. Like, it's weird. But it wasn't like the offense was bad. Seattle's offense was cooking. So I have no problem with them this week, like just running up the score. I don't think the Rams can their secondary is not that good anymore either. Like, I mean, I think Metcalf can have a day. I'm with you. I don't need the props here. I think Seattle just smashes them. Uh, I might look at first half team total. I don't know. But really, I just like Seattle and they're definitely a teaser spot. I haven't really figured out how I want to do some teasers. I do have one that I like as an idea that we're going to get to in a second, but I think this is just an absolute murder. And I'm surprised it's only 7. Like, I'm shocked with Bryce Perkins as the starter.
I mean, to be completely fair, Perkins looked half decent against the Chiefs last week. Like, I got to give the man his props. He looked calm at least. He was throwing.
Germany just took the lead.
He almost ruined my teaser with the Chiefs. Just got to say it.
So Germany has taken the lead.
Oh shit!
But they are. I mean, they're not going to make it just based on goal differential. They need. I guess they need. If Spain scores, then oh my God, this is just going to be a mess these next couple of
What
minutes.
is up with this World Cup?
I don't know. I know it's up with my bankroll.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be betting the World Cup anymore. I think I've decided that a while ago, and then I just had that little stupid parlay.
All right, let's get off this game. We both agree there. What's next?
Next up, we have.
Because I think all these games are interesting on Sunday.
Dude, this is going to be my favorite game to watch because I'm definitely not betting it. The Miami Dolphins against the San Francisco 49ers. Niners laying 4. It's that weird 4 number. Both teams looking excellent lately. Lou, start us off.
Excuse me. Yeah. So this is gonna sound like a weird contrarian pick. I like the over a lot here, and I feel like what each team is good at, the other team is terrible at. So on Miami, it's important to know that Armstead's out. He got hurt in the Texans game, but I think that just affects them on the ground. I don't think it affects them in the air. I don't know that Miami is going to have any fucking success on the ground. And I think that's great for us because San Francisco, if they have any vulnerability, it's at the corners. I think Hill and Waddle can still get theirs. I think Miami is going to have no problem moving the ball in the air. On the ground, no. But in the air, I mean, look who San Francisco has been stopped. Like you stomped the Saints. Like you should have the Saints. Okay, great. Their offense is anemic. And Kamara fumbled on like the 1-inch line. So like, let's not act like the Niners. Like, look, you shut them out. I'm not taking that away from you, but look into the numbers a little more. I think New Orleans actually they missed a couple of field goals too. So let's relax on this. On the flip side of it, Miami's secondary is awful, and their run defense isn't much better. And I think San Fran's going to be able to move the ball at will. I've been hitting Miami overs all year. It's such a high number for a Niners game, but it's such a low number for a Miami game. I'm laying off the spread because I like you. I believe it's like, why isn't it 3? Why
Why
isn't
isn't
the
it 2 and
number
a half?
3? Yeah, I mean, just give me the home team -3 and call it a day, and nobody's suspicious. So the fact that it's 4 is interesting. It was 4.5 yesterday. It's a little bit of money on Miami, but like, I feel like if San Francisco goes up, like 14 in the first half or something like that, and makes Miami 100% one-dimensional, they're not even trying to run the ball. I feel like the Niners could pull away with the game. I don't know that Miami can do that. Because, like I said, if Miami is just trying to slow the game down and just runs the ball, they're going to be 3 and out in the whole second half. So I could see I could see a blowout script for the Niners. I don't see it for Miami. But man, I think this is going to be like, I don't know if it's going to be Minnesota Buffalo, but this is like game of the year type shit. I mean, the Niners right now are probably the team most poised that could beat the Eagles. They're set up. The way they are set up is to beat the Eagles. And Miami, the way Buffalo's kind of not been lighting the world on fire. I mean, who knows where Miami could end up in the playoffs, like what seed they can get. I mean, Miami has a run in them. Like, that's a dangerous team. Their defense is a liability, sure, but like they're a team that nobody's going to really want to play in the playoffs. So I think I don't want to say it's a Super Bowl preview, but wouldn't shock me if these two teams came out of their conferences. So give me the over. I think it's an exciting game. I don't know if I'm going like any more than 1 unit on it, but I see a path where both teams could be good and get there. And I can see a path where the Niners blow them out. And maybe this game is like 35-17 kind of game, but that's where I'm at there.
Yeah, I don't like either side. I live with a resident diehard Niner fan, so if I even decide to take the Dolphins here, I will hear it the whole game and every touchdown, every field goal. We told you. Who are we? Mr. Third Down, Juwan Jennings. Oh my God. It just rings in my head and it's nightmares. But yeah, the one prop that I like in this game is probably going to be looking a little word vomit. Kittle over. Miami can't stop tight ends. Kittle's over is 44.5, and I will be hitting that. But from any other standpoint, probably laying off the game. I do see a high scoring game here. I, like you, also see a blowout script for the 49ers because for some reason, Jeff Wilson just kind of disappeared in the last game. He couldn't run the ball against the Texans, which is
No.
very weird. He got his touchdown, but everyone in the world was on his yards, and he didn't do anything.
That's why, because I bet is over, and they're like, nope.
Yeah, they denied us there. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Like a lot of the breakdowns in this slate, short and sweet, nothing much. On to the next one. Chargers at the Raiders. And the Chargers are only a +1. Well, I'm surprised they're even underdogs.
They are on the road. And Vegas definitely has a home field. I mean, I'll give them that.
I don't know, man. The Raiders have no one. I get
The
it.
Raiders.
They cannot stop the run. Like, yes, I get it. The Chargers are horrible at rushing defense. So Josh Jacobs will have his, but I don't think Derek Carr will have his. The pass rush from the Chargers is starting to get better, and they're starting to get healthier. I think the Chargers take this game, but it's one of those games where you're questioning the bet. The bet for me, I think the side is the Chargers, but I don't know what's making me hesitate on pulling the trigger here, because their offense has stepped up in the past couple games. They've been looking better. Herbert looks like he's fully recovered from that rib injury, but something's telling me not to touch this. So I'm just going to listen to my gut and probably just either stick with Jacobs rushing totals or rushing and receiving totals, and that's it.
I want nothing to do with this game at all. This is a battle of teams that have just fucked me in the butt, like, repeatedly. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, even the total, I'm like, seems low. But like, they've both stung me this year so many times. I think the Chargers' like biggest problem is they're so poorly coached. I mean, yeah, they get hurt. There's a lot of injuries, but like situational games, like all these situations where like we're screaming like we know what they should do. They don't. They go for it on like 4th and 4, like on their own 45, because like they do weird fucking shit and they'll convert it. It's like, yeah, but that was still the wrong play. And like, and maybe the Raiders are like, I don't know, man. Like, I think last week was just kind of like a crazy aberration. For the sake of the show, I'll go with you on the Chargers. I have no confidence in this game. And it sucks that I don't want to bet it because it's probably going to be a lot of fun. So, like, look, we'll see how 1 o'clock goes. Maybe I'll throw like some same game parlay bullshit in, but like, I'm never touching a side here. Like, I can't with these two
And
teams.
just FYI, since the last time we spoke of this, Germany scored 2 goals. They're up 4-2.
Yeah, I saw that.
What is going on? This means it's out. It stays the same results.
They're still out. They need Spain to tie it, but or I think they need. Yeah,
So right now, Spain goes
Spain
through.
tying it. If Spain ties it, they would beat Japan on goal difference. So
Wow.
all right, what's next? 3 games on the slate. I assume it's Chiefs Bengals.
Chiefs Bengals next. And the Chiefs are only a -2 favorite. This is a rematch from the AFC conference division game in the playoffs. Lou, I'm gonna let you start this off.
All right, I think you and I are going to be on different sides of this one. I love the Bengals here.
Oh,
They've quietly put their 5 out of their last 6. Chase is back, Mixon's back. Their defense has been playing a lot better. They're at home. Cincinnati home field advantage definitely plays here. I ultimately, and I'll be going light on this, but I will be betting the Bengals here. I ultimately trust their defense a little more than I trust. I don't trust the Chiefs defense. I trust the Bengals defense a little more to get it done. I also trust their special teams a lot more. A lot more. Bucker's been pretty inconsistent this year. And like, this is the kind of game where that's going to matter. Like, I honest to God, McPherson at home is like, from 60 in is just like dominant. So in a game where I think that's going to matter, give me the team where I think can run the ball a little bit better, and can play defense a little bit better. Could this come back to bite me in the ass big? Absolutely. Absolutely. But they're begging you to bet the Chiefs here, and I'm just not taking the bait, man. I'm going to play the Bengals, and I'm going to wait because I got to think this team's going to come in on Kansas City here.
Well,
I knew we were going to be on the wrong side of it.
I'm sure taking the bait. I'm going to be taking the Chiefs -2. probably for a unit and a half. Nothing too crazy, but the Chiefs are just and I've compared these teams in the past. I think the Chiefs are just the more evolved version of the Bengals. I think the Bengals can turn into a better team than the Chiefs just because of their defense, but I think they have some time to go. They definitely have to improve on their rushing defense. They have to improve on protecting the quarterback. And Patrick Mahomes, you can't bet against this motherfucker. Like he just pulls it out of the bag time and time again.
I
And
know.
with a spread of -2, I'm probably gonna be taking the money line at -130, and I'm probably
Yeah,
gonna
there's
lock
no
it in
reason to
now
get
before the
screwed. There's no
time.
reason to get screwed. Like, don't you
Yeah,
know?
I don't wanna get screwed. If I'm gonna bet this game, which I probably will, and I'm probably gonna lock it in right now, it's gonna be -130 on that money line for the Chiefs. And I think this is gonna be a high scoring game. So I'm shading a little bit towards the over, but I'm not gonna be playing it. If anything, like, why not tease that over and the Dolphins over? Like, that sounds like a good idea to me. Other than that, no props that I'm gonna be looking forward to because I feel like any player on both teams can pop off. Obviously, T motherfucking Higgins is a friend of the show. So
T motherfucking Higgins,
yeah,
my
I'm gonna
dude.
let you say it that way. You got that one.
Anytime he scores, I'm like, it was always Higgins. It's always Higgins.
Always, always, always. You remember last week I texted you immediately. I'm like, T motherfucking Higgins.
I'm like, it was always Higgins.
hmm But Kelsey's a motherfucker too. So Travis motherfucking Kelsey.
Yeah, he is a motherfucking badass, dude.
That's all I
Uh,
have for that game. I'm
yeah,
not too prop heavy on this slate except for today.
right.
Sunday night football, Colts at Cowboys. I mean, if there's a teaser spot on the board that I like the most, it's probably the Cowboys. But I don't really have another teaser to put them in, except for if I want to take a 10 point and add the other two teams that I mentioned before, the Browns and
Right.
excuse me, Seahawks. And I'm probably not gonna add the Cowboys in there. I like to get done with my betting before the night game, so that in the night game I can just go full degenerate and have like 3 5 pick prize picks things.
Absolutely. Yeah, I just run lineups for
Fun.
the games like this. I don't typically bet games like this. I'll just do a bunch of lineups.
Mhm.
So I actually am on the other side of this. I'm probably not gonna get there. I think you could tease this game either way and probably be all right.
Yeah.
Uh, the Colts haven't been getting blown. They've been blown out once this year. They're playing weirdly better under Jeff Saturday, even though Matt Ryan is like giving Russell Wilson a run for his money for like worst QB of the year. Their defense has played decently. It's a lot of points for Dallas. Like it's a lot of points. I Dallas had
Yeah.
the rest. I understand. Like they played Thanksgiving against the G-men.
The G-Man.
It just seems like the Colts can kind of hang around and maybe backdoor cover here. But like if you tease it, if you do like a 7 point teaser, if you gave me the Colts 17.5, I feel good. If you gave me the Cowboys 3.5, I feel good. So I think either way you go with it is fine. I don't know why the total is shaded to the over because I feel like for the Colts to cover, it has to be like a bunch of 8-minute drives that end in field goals. So like I kind of feel like it's like 17-7 is like their perfect kind of game here. So I think that over is kind of crazy. Of course, because I'm playing DFS, I'm going to have my obligatory two defense, two kicker stack because
Yep.
I'm telling you right, and maybe like Ferguson at the captain spot because motherfucker when he went off against, I think it was the Eagles game, that was the optimal lineup is like him at the minimum salary on the board. And then if you put him, I remember that because I almost did something similar. If you put him at the captain spot, you could get to like literally every other marquee player. You get to like Hurts, Sanders, Brown, like Pollard. You get to literally anybody else you wanted to on the slate, which is crazy. I'm like, all right. But yeah, I lean Colts. I don't know.
Yeah, ultimately I don't know either. Yeah, I mean both defenses are playing pretty decent. I think the Cowboys are gonna have a million sacks. I'll say that.
Yeah, which means Ryan's probably gonna have at least two fumbles.
Yeah,
So
at least.
maybe the sack total, which I don't think is out yet, but let's No, they
Watch it
don't
be
have
like
to.
5.5.
No, they don't have defensive props out yet. But
It'll
well,
be over under 3. That's usually what it's at.
yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, I would anything. I think if it's even 3.5, you take the shot there. I mean, again, if Indy has to abandon the run even a little bit, the opportunities are going to be there. I mean, Dallas can start loading 7 in the box. I mean, yeah, Paris Campbell's been okay, but like you're not really worried about him burning you too bad. It's Pitt. You take care of Pittman. I mean, they don't even use Mo Alley Cox anymore. Like they don't throw to the tight ends at all. Like they're just
Oh,
so it's kind of weird watching them play. But we got one more game.
Monday Night Football.
Oh
Chiefs
boy.
and Bucks. Here's the thing I have with this game. The Saints own Tom Brady. They just own him. The defense just has a thing to they love playing against Tom Brady. You remember that crazy game last year? It was like 9-3.
Yep.
I remember it clearly because
Taysom Hill started, right? Wasn't he the starter? I think Winston
Taysom
was
Hill was the
out
starter.
and Bridgewater was hurt. No. Was it who the hell was the second guy?
Taysom Hill was the starter. I
Yeah,
remember this
I mean, like
clearly
somebody
because
else
I
had
was
been hurt
eating
too. Like,
Korean barbecue, and I was watching it while eating Korean barbecue. I had that much interest in the game. But yeah, it was
hey, Korean
9-3.
barbecue's awesome, man.
I haven't
No
had it in a
joke.
while. Yeah, I have nothing to say about that. I'm hungry right now.
I would
I need
lean
food.
Saints. I would lean Saints, but I like even though it's the only game on a Monday night, I'm not betting this at all. I
Bet the under.
like Tampa Bay last week was just, and I had Tampa Bay -2.5. It's just such a fucking disgrace the way that game played out. Like, how do you do nothing? I mean, like they were 3 and outing every drive in the fourth quarter. Like they just gave Cleveland that win. So man, I don't even know who the quarterback is this week for the Saints. They haven't announced it yet, I don't think. But
Mm.
does it matter? Like
Yeah, because then you have a revenge spot for Jameis Winston.
famous Jameis? I mean, I don't think to me, it's probably I don't see the Saints getting any kind of win by more than 4. I'd lean Saints, but yeah, I am not excited about this spot at all. Let's move on to what's it? I guess we got
Yeah.
nothing to move on for.
Yeah, I'm like, wait a second, move on to what?
All right, close it
I
out.
was waiting for what you're gonna say. NBA 1 game slate. Dallas Mavericks first half. That's all I'm gonna say.
What are these
It's a
people
weird
asking
day.
me?
Weird day for sports. Like NBA, there's only 1 game. Obviously, there's the one football game. College, there's none early. Is all starting at like 3:30. Like, what do you bet on? World Cup is weird today. Japan won the group.
I can give you my World Cup pick for Saturday because I'll be out drinking. Now, I want to tell anybody watching this, be responsible because I'm like 2-80 on my picks. So, like, if I can't make money, at least I hope I make you people money. It's the best I can say. I think at even money, both teams to score in the U.S. Netherlands game, I like, and the U.S. has come out really strong in the first halves. Pulisic's probably going to play. I think Sargent's going to play. I'm really not worried about. And Netherlands' defense has been kind of shaky. They're a little older at the back. Virgil van Dijk's not looking great. He's all right, but the rest of the team around him's like kind of older. But Memphis Depay is going to play 90 minutes in this game, and I can't see Netherlands not score. So to me, plus 100 means do you think the U.S. will score 1 goal? Like that's at least how I'm capping it. Because Netherlands is going to get their goals. Now I already have a future on the Netherlands if they score 3 goals in this game, and I don't think they're going to score 3 goals, but I don't know. If they scored 3 goals, on my tournament team total for them 7.5 will hit. So I had $100 on that at -110. So I'd love to hit that, just get something back. But I mean, if the U.S. wants to win 4-3, that's great. And then
Definitely is.
American soccer team is asshole. I'm reading that in like Borat's voice. American soccer team is asshole. Uh, yeah, I mean, the USA scored fucking 2 goals in the group stage, and they got 6 points, and they didn't concede. The Netherlands is a different story. The Netherlands will score at least 1 goal, and maybe Depay to score 2 or more is an interesting proposition. now that
Yeah,
he's
or at
healthy.
least assists.
He's very good, by the way. Memphis Depay, for anybody watching this,
I
is
don't
number
know why
one.
they weren't starting him in the first 2
He's
games. I do not
because he's
understand.
he's hurt. Because he's hurt. He was hurt.
Really?
He's coming off, yeah, he's coming off a hamstring injury. So that's why they brought him along. Like that's why they've been bringing him along so slowly. But he's played more minutes in every single game. Last game he played 65 minutes, I think. So
Okay.
he's getting more and more. Yeah, that's the only reason they held him out. They're trying, but right now the way Gakpo is playing, like it was okay that they could have held him up. The Ecuador game was weird. They were fine with a tie there. They're like, they're like, because when they knew they were going to end with Qatar, they're look, there's 3 points to end. They had beaten Senegal. They knew get out of there with a point, win the group. It's no big deal. So the way Gakpo's playing, healthy Depay, maybe the legendary Wout Weghorst can
Val
get on the field.
Veghorst.
Wout
I don't wanna see
Weghorst
that dude.
from
I don't wanna see him on the field.
he's a good set piece guy, but he's getting older. But I think both teams to score. I could see 1-1 and it goes into extra time and everybody's shitting their pants. I really could. I mean, I'm not big on this US team this year. I think they're like kind of overrated. But they didn't concede any goals in the group stage, and they played England. So like look, man, can't argue with. Or they conceded 1 goal. I'm sorry, they conceded against Wales. What am I talking about?
Mhm.
They did concede against Wales, but they conceded a penalty, so that's okay. Like from live play, from from the run of free play, they didn't concede shit. So
Their
I
defense
think
has
that's
been holding
something to
up.
be. Yeah, they could have had 4 against Iran. To be honest, like they had a lot of close misses in the first half that like could have broken their way. But I don't think Netherlands' defense is that great. I think they will find a way to get one at least. So I don't know that I want to bet the draw or anything fancy, but I do think they both score here. Also like the Argentina game to go over 2.5. I think Argentina could score 3 on them, but
Yep.
I mean Australia's been plucky, man. Maybe they get one. That's all. Like if
They've
they
been, like,
score, that over is going
defending
to hit.
score, and they just sit back. I don't get it.
I mean, we did say this is a football show. We didn't specify what kind of football.
That is true. We didn't say if it was UT or OOOT.
Yeah,
They
and
both go. But guys, another week down the hatchet. Wanted to thank you all for joining us and for watching. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, follow Lou at LouBetya, follow the MMA Engine, follow me if you want to, if you kind of like me, But yeah, this is us signing off. Until next week. Peace.